and has been rightly put by Honorable Lenaola, Justice Lenaola, is that I remember being part of this history. So today, it's a very exciting moment for me. I'm also honored I'm not just attending this function on behalf of the Speaker or as Deputy Speaker, but also as a former member of the judiciary. And as a person who was part in a small way of this journey. The importance of tribunals cannot be overemphasized, as it has a very important role in our justice system. Because without tribunals, the pressure on the courts will be unbearable, and no country can be able to afford it. I must thank those who went, Justice Gathurima, you are part of the process. You had the vision to start the thinking of the very difficult task of moving the tribunals from the various ministries and into the judiciary. I know that it was very unpopular at that time, and many ministries felt they owned the tribunals, and the tribunals were also for places to put their friends and then control some budget and so on. So even though I hear that there is 50 tribunals which are presently constituted in our statutes, I confess that I don't know all of them. Like today I discovered about the Education Tribunal. I didn't know that it existed. I didn't know about the Nutrition Tribunal. So I'm probably going to sue my nutritionist because I've been putting on weight over the years despite trying to follow her rules. Yeah, and these tribunals, as you're all aware, were not created out of a grand theory of administration, but or an ad hoc basis, but also it was seen necessary to be able to improve the administration of justice and to ensure that you had people who are specialized in certain areas of law to be able to deal with it, or also people from various other walks of life to be able to lend their expertise to be able to dispense justice and thereby supporting the judiciary. Even those that eventually go to appeal, I'm sure judges will bear me witness that it's easier to deal with an appeal that comes out of a tribunal because they've done all the homework for you. All the evidence has been collected in a very with a lot of expertise, so that by the time it comes to you, it's so much easier for you to see the facts of the case, and the law is always clear. And the judiciary, in establishing the Office of the Registrar of Tribunals in 2017, to coordinate the affairs of the tribunals, brought a semblance of order and efficiency to this service delivery. Today, in launching the shared services, the website, the registry manual, and the judiciary has taken another giant leap in ensuring efficiency, accessibility, and standardization of services to the public. And these are great strides, Lady Chief Justice. This is amazing. I mean, I went around when I was looking, you were showing us around, and I just thought to myself, okay, if I have to come back to the judiciary, I think I want to work in the tribunals. They have beautiful offices, modern offices, completely digitized. I mean, that is what I always dreamt about. So I think when I grow up, I'll probably come and work there. But also, I think it's very important for me to recognize the work and the leadership of Anna Suga in steering this. I know I watched you go through the process, and I must also appreciate the great team that you have. I know that when you worked with me at the beginning, you thought I was a slave driver. And I think it has paid off. That slave driving has paid off, don't you think? Look at the spirit of excellence that you possess now. I'm proud of you. And I must say that I'm always excited when I go to places and I find people that I worked with, my mentees, or people who are my students. They are all amazing people in this country. You won't believe it. I go to every ministry. Advisor to the minister used to be my student or worked with me, the chief of staff, advisors to the president. So yes, it feels good. That's my only claim to fame. Yeah, and then the housing of the tribunals under one roof is a great concept. I know the difficulty that existed when they were scattered all over town. And I know as Council Tomo Haga has talked about it when you initially arrived and found that you had a dilapidated place to work in and so on. Believe me, I had the same problems when I entered various offices that I've worked in. in the public service. And I remember whenever I complained about the smelly toilets or the dirty offices, I remember Githu Muigai told me, Gladys, you are preoccupied with housekeeping. You know, you should have time, that was at the university, that I should spend my energy, you know, thinking about more academic things. So I said, but this place is not even conducive for academic thought. You know, so yes, it was nice to see these offices. And, you know, just seeing also the website, I had the chance to look at it. And it brought back memories when we developed the Kenya Law Reports website. And I remember, you know, at that time, even though it was a foreign concept, I had the support of many judges. They couldn't believe that they didn't have to lick their fingers to look for their judgments. They would just, you know, click a few buttons and get it. And the e-filing system is amazing. I know that maybe many people, especially the young people here, don't know how difficult it was when e-filing was not being done. I remember during my tenure, people used to, the receipting system, there used to be a carbon copy, a triplicate of the receipts. And so what happened is the clerks would write 70,000 on the top and give the lawyer the receipt for 70,000, but below it, they'd write 7,000. So the judiciary was losing a lot of revenue. So actually, the increased revenue with the judiciary that has enjoyed the judiciary is also because of the introduction of e-filing. And you really have my support, and that's why I was a bit upset when they reduced your ICT budget. But I can give you my commitment that I shall continue to fight for you as your ambassador in Parliament. I know that Honorable Dindi Nyoro came and told me, Gladys, do you work for Parliament or do you work for the judiciary? Because I came and told him, you don't understand. If you truly want to raise more revenue in Kenya, then you must ensure that the judiciary has a sufficient ICT budget. Even just for proper administration of justice. I remember we had very powerful clerks. The most powerful people in the judiciary were clerks. They could hide your file, they could lose your file, and there's nothing you can do about it. The judges couldn't do anything, the lawyers couldn't do anything about it. So there is so much benefit in it. And even as we speak for that, and as I petition for you to ensure that you get, at least you're going to be part of the supplementary, it's also important when you appear before the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to also explain other ways that you can raise revenue. And today I was surprised that the Rent Tribunal charges 100 shillings for filing fees. That's unacceptable. And, you know, usually if you can show the Budget Committee that you have ways of raising the revenue, they will match that revenue for you, maybe even twice. So I think you can use that as an argument. And I'm not saying that you should increase the filing fees for people who are bringing very small claims. I think it's a big claim. So if somebody is paying 1 million shillings in rent, they cannot pay 100 shillings for filing. I think that is wrong. Also, on the tax tribunal, you can't bring a 500 million tax matter to the tribunal and pay 20,000 shillings as filing fees. I think that is not acceptable. And I think I can confirm to you that, Honorable Chief Justice, that one, because you're not taxing Kenyans, you'll not run any risk of being called Zakayo. So you can immediately increase that. And I don't think you run the risk of it being nullified by the court. So I think you can proceed and ensure that you change that. No, and truly, I think that's important. I think now I'm going to actually look keenly about it, because that is a way that you can be able to raise your A&A for the judiciary to go forward, because you do need the resources. Ladies and gentlemen, let me try to stop deviating from my speech. As you are aware, Parliament is aware that despite being previously stated as over 50 tribunals in existence, only 20 or so are under the ambit of the judiciary. These include the Tax Appeals Tribunal, the Rent Tribunal, the Sports Tribunal, and of course, the well-known to me is the Mwanasiasa one, that's the political parties tribunals. As the process of transiting the tribunals to the judiciary is ongoing, it is clear that there is need to evaluate and rationalize the existing tribunals to make them appropriate recommendations on how best we achieve this efficiency. The enactment of the Tribunals Bill, which many of you have alluded to, 2023, is currently awaiting second reading by the House. This will help in rationalizing and regulating the establishment of the tribunals. It seeks to streamline the governance and operations of tribunals, provide a reasonable standard of establishment of tribunals, set appropriate qualifications for chairpersons, members of tribunals, and ensure expeditious settlement of disputes by these tribunals, and also enhance justice and improve quality of service delivery by the tribunal so that you can truly be able to live to your slogan, social transformation through access to justice. The bill also spells out the role of the Judicial Service Commission, which includes includes to ensure tribunals adhere to the provisions of law, ensure that the enhancement of fair, efficient, and accessible tribunal system, and also development of jurisprudence, and regulate and oversee the functioning of tribunals. Further, the bill provides for the appointment of the Registrar of Tribunals, who shall be responsible for establishment of registries of tribunals, day-to-day administration and management of the Secretariat, and overseeing support services for the tribunals, including planning and development and organization of staff, and also, most importantly, to be able to streamline which divisions of the High Court are supervising which tribunals, so that it is similar to the way the court processes are run. The bill is, in essence, seeks also to entrench the policies and operational structures that the judiciary already has in place in law. This is the best example of the principle that policy informs law, and which I have encountered during my tenure as a parliamentarian. I'm aware that the judiciary not only made its formal representations to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on the bill during the rounds of public participation, but has continued to undertake consultations on the bill when required to. In this regard, I wish to thank the judiciary for playing that role and providing insights to enrich the provisions of the bill and consequently lead to the enactment of legislation that will best serve the people. And I want to encourage the judiciary that whenever there is any pieces of legislation that are working their way through Parliament, it's very important that you participate, because usually the parliamentarians will rely heavily, and also our technical staff will rely heavily on the parent ministry or the parent state department, because you're the only ones who know how it works. So I would also encourage you that even as it goes to the second reading, if you could kindly look at it again, and I'm happy to be able to ensure that if there's any amendments that you still need to move, we still have a chance to move it at the Committee of the Whole House and also at the debate level. So you can always tell us. And many times, members of Parliament, sometimes when you hear them contributing during debate, they most likely have gotten the talking points from a member of the public or a member from a certain state department, because it's the only way. Because we're your representative. It's not for us just to make the law. We do it on your behalf. So I do encourage the judiciary to still look at it as it goes to second reading, because we still have an opportunity to continue to improve it. In conclusion, today's event is a testament that the judiciary is living true to its 2033 vision of the people-centered justice approach. For this, I laud you, my lady, Chief Justice, and I have no doubt that you are on the right track on the journey of social transformation through access to justice. In the words of the 34th President and of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower, and allow me to quote to quote him, accomplishment will prove to be a journey, not a destination. And I also want to laud you for what you said, you mentioned today, where you said that about shared leadership, that you also are giving the opportunity to those who work with you, like the registrars, to be able to share that leadership with you, and you're giving them full authority to be able to explore the various ways of ensuring that your vision comes through. So with that, we thank you, and thank you all of you who are here today. And now I have been given a very important duty that I should invite Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Martha Koome. Karibu.
Thank you so much, our Deputy Speaker. Please, may we be seated. Thank you, everybody. I actually recognize all of you in a very, very special way because you are our very, very special guests this morning.